Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up Cosmic Crucible Edition. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we had BeniWestSide and Pathfinder Gaming in my ear arguing ISOs. Arguing a lot of ISOs, and we're going to be talking about the ISOs on the Masters of Evil in conjunction with the Tangled Web in Room 5, so stay tuned for that one. There's a lot to go over. We are going over King's defense. King is 38 million operating in Diamond 3. Got some pretty cool teams, so let's take a look. Team number 1, the Rebirth team, garbage. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. If you're going to build this for raids, you can use it as a filler defense. But as we found out live on stream today, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, find us on Twitch, I destroyed a team just like this with SA, Kestrel, Fury, and Shang-Chi. It absolutely ate it alive. It doesn't take much to beat this team. They're just no good outside of raids. Doesn't mean this is a waste. It's a pretty well-built team. I'd like to see Peggy as a healer. I'd like to see Walker Texas Ranger there as a raider, and I want to put Striker on Winter Soldier. Probably some better ISOs. Captain America is a pretty good flex character. You can try out a variety of stuff. Some people like Skirmisher on him, but healer works just fine. Not terrible choices here. These are just definitely not my first picks on those 3 characters. As for placement, this works well enough. Just keep Winter Soldier away from Peggy Carter because they are the hot targets. If you're looking to beat this team, delete Peggy, stun Winter Soldier, team falls apart. So I don't like this on defense. I think it's more of a liability than a junk filler team. Also, if you're missing one of these members, especially US Soldier, US Agent, you can replace him with Maria Hill because you're probably not really using Maria Hill anywhere else. But ultimately, this team is going to get blown up. They're just not a great defensive team, not in War, not in Crucible. They are meant to be done in raids. It's kind of unfortunate how cookie cutter this team is. You can't even swap people out on their raid team. They start losing effectiveness. So yeah, it is what it is, but it's for me, it's really not exciting. I'm going to give this one a C- because mostly I just like to see a different team, but ultimately I do think the ISOs could be tweaked out a little bit better. Team number 2 is the Asgardians. Here is another junk filler team that I do not like seeing on defense because it is more of a liability than just throwing in some high-powered garbage that you're not using. This team can easily be blown up with the New Warrior Star-Lord composition where it deletes them before they even take a turn. I don't like Fortifier on Sif. She's always the last one to die anyways. The only thing you're doing here is making sure she survives that New Warrior Wombo combo, and then what? She's all by herself, moving slower than molasses. So this is terrible. Also, I like Raider on Thor, not Striker, but really best thing to do is get them out of here. The only reason you should ever be using this team on Crucible defense is if your Heimdall is really low powered and he ends up getting clipped off early, which triggers Valkyrie's passive, and then this team can do some stuff. But ultimately, it's really terrible. Yes, a lot of people don't know the good counters to this. If it draws in Eternals, it's a win. But really, I just don't like it. There's better things you can do than use it. I mean, this team actually cleans up a lot of stuff in Crucible, so it might be better kept on offense as a backup reserve team. But I just think the point deficit from blowing this team up in 3 turns can just kill you and make it really tough. You're probably better off just putting in some big tanky trash in here instead. So for me, again, this is a C-. I don't like the ISOs on 2 of the characters, and I don't like the team being used on defense. I think we should use something better. Team number 3. Once again, we have another team. These are great pieces for offensive hybrids. We talked about the New Warriors being used for a lot of different things, actually, that they can be used for. So let's get them on offense. Surfer, a great offensive pick right now. Props to you for putting Fortifier on him. He is spreading 3 stacks of defense up to those 2, making the team a little bit tougher. But you could even get in here. Benny thinks you could even get in here with an Axemen, nuke that Loki, get some speed going off of it, and turn things up. If it draws in Eternals, that's a win, but it's going to be a very efficient kill for the Eternals as well. Death's Pool can be used in a lot of places for different reasons. So obviously Loki can be paired up with the Eternals to change that order of operations with those 2. So I think there's a lot of valuable offensive pieces. It's actually a good defense. It's just better used on offense. So for me, I'm going to give this team a B. I do like the placement. The ISOs are good. Everything about this team is actually pretty good. I just want to see these pieces being used on offense. I think they're really valuable, especially as you move into Masters. You're going to need those niche hybrids. All right, moving on to team number 4 is Unlimited. Now, we talked for a good while about the placement with Gambit, with Firestorm, and with Rogue. The best placement we've come up with is to put Rogue to the outside with Gambit next to her and Fire Chicken next to him. Hopefully they rewind all three, not understanding the mechanics, because if they come into this with Gamma and they use that special to rewind these three on the left side, it's a win for you. It's going to screw up how Gambit plays. He's going to have immunity and won't be able to get stunned, and he's just going to be blasting people. And then Firestorm will not be able to use his big AoEs, giving your Red Hulk the charges. And then, of course, it gives you the time to get in front of Rogue. So ultimately, we want Gambit next to Rogue. That's the most important thing. Because then if they do target Rogue, then Gambit gets rewound also. There's no getting around that. And that makes the match much more tricky, but hopefully they get all three. Yeah, other than that, I guess you could put Phantom X to the outside on the other side of the team. The ISOs are great. I just want that placement being changed. You're leaving an opportunity for your opponent to come in here, target Rogue with the Red Hulk special, and only rewind Fire Chicken, allowing them to do things to Gambit that you don't want them to do, long story short. So, change places. Otherwise, I'm going to give this a B+. We're getting better here. Here we go. This is nearly an A. This is the Masters of Evil with Tangled Web. We're hearing that this is ridiculously challenging to get through. You basically have to kind of mirror it with Emma to get in front of it, something like that, or go into it with a Tangled Eternals comp with Emma. The problem is that you have this taunt on him. You have to clear that. Now, your 99 will probably clear that taunt and allow you to get your Spider Weaver into their Spider Weaver, so long as you have the speed advantage, and then you bring in your Eternals to really pack a punch and destroy things. But you have an ability block. You have two ability blocks coming out of this team, and either one of them could go into your Cersei and really screw things up. You have, take it from me, it's a nightmare team. It's a nightmare team, and this is what you want to use. So what we want to do, though, is placement change. We're going to go Absorbing Man 99. No, I'm sorry. We're going to go Titania 99, Absorbing Man, Weaver, and then Ultron. That way, Absorbing Man with his taunt is in the middle. Hopefully, he doesn't get his taunt removed, and he's going to be drawing attacks that'll splash onto those Tangled members, giving them ability, energy, and speed, and all that stuff. But yeah, this is better than the YA comp is what I'm hearing. Now, I haven't unlocked my Titania yet, and my Masters of Evil are not big enough to do this, but everybody in chat and Pathfinder and Benny, they all say this is the new hot sauce. So go put it into your defensive lineup, get the placement checked. What we did argue endlessly on was the ISOs on the Masters of Evil. We think Kang's going to change some things, but for this specific defense, this exactly 5-piece here, Titania as a Raider is probably the best choice. However, to save you on ISOs, we do think that Titania as a striker is probably going to be a better overall choice for different game modes and different compositions. And so you should probably, if you're going to pick one, probably pick striker. We do agree also that this team has a lot of flex options with their ISOs. I'm talking about the Masters of Evil. They have a lot of options that they can do. Absorbing Man is probably the only one that everybody's kind of in agreement on, which is Raider. We think he should probably be changed to a Raider in all different forms. Titania, probably a striker for a multitude of reasons. This team gets a ton of turn meter, and they get a ton of crit chance. And making them a striker, especially with Kang's passive putting out vulnerables, means that the DPS overall as a striker is probably going to be the DPS of a Raider ISO. Probably, but who knows? More testing is needed. But those are our suggestions. We think that Striker on Titania, probably switching Ultron over to a Raider, although don't jump to do that just yet if you've already built him as a Striker. Striker seems to be a good choice as well. Let's wait until Kang gets out before we make any decisions. So for right now, I'm not going to dock King for any of his ISO choices, except for maybe Absorbing Man. I don't like that Skirmisher. I think Raider's probably a better choice there all around. Let's get a placement adjustment on this. We're giving it an A-. It is the new thing to do, so probably get this in there. This is going to be really hard to beat unless you have Tangled on offense. Otherwise, you're going to have to run a sack with Eternals and some other stuff and hope that things play out just right and you don't get the wrong person ability blocked and all that, and it's still going to be ugly. Still going to be ugly. So this one's pretty cool. And finally, we have Wakandans in 6. No big surprises here. Let's put a striker on M'Baku. We're okay with the placement. It's fine. So A- for this team is what it is. All right, if you want your defense featured on Defense Up, links in the description. Find me on Discord. Send me pics of your lineup. Don't bother cropping them, please. I'll get you put on the list. We're over 4 weeks out now. I will be shutting down that list here pretty soon to get caught up because it's a long list, for crying out loud. So get your picks in now and get on that list while you can. All right, remember, guys, don't just have a good game. Be good to yourselves and others too. And I'll see you next time. Bye.